What do you get when you mix a military photographer hot off the heels of Vietnam in a 60s film from Japan with go-go dancing female ninja assassins and a big pile of gold? Well, you get Black Tight Killers, and we're going to talk about it right now. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of Radiance's new Blu Ray release called Black Tight Killers from 1966. I'm going to tell you all about it in my spoiler-free review, and then we'll go over all the ingredients that are included in here, take a look at some of the stuff on the inside and the artwork and everything. So let's get into it. So yeah, Yasuharu Hasebe was the director of this film. This was his first feature film, although, he did work as an assistant director for about 6 years, doing about 40 or 50 films with Suzuki Saijun, who was a huge director for the Nikatsu Film Company. He put out the lion's share of their movies, in fact, which they put out a lot of action films, a lot of really young, youthful films that were kind of digging into the pop culture of the days and kind of doing a lot of fun, new, stylish things and mixing every genre you can possibly think into one movie. It was basically the world's pop cinema in a movie. But after working under Suzuki, Yasuharu actually got the chance to direct one of his own feature films, and it happened to be The Black Tight Killers, which is based on a novel called Triple Exposure. That's the English translation from Michio Suzuki as well. And the movie was translated as Don't Touch Me, I'm Dangerous, The Black Tight Killers. But these movies were just insane. Like this one in particular is just like a comic book killer movie that is very akin to something like Bond films that were going on at the time. And man, did they do a really good job. There's a lot of like obligatory artistic style things that happen in this movie that make it a real treat. Essentially, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, this is about a military photographer played by the Akira Kobayashi, who was basically the main star for the Nikatsu Film Company. He was one of the bigger ones because he was young, attractive. He could be the any man. He could jump in from military work all the way into, being a spy like Bond and a suit. He plays the character Hondo in this, and he's actually out on a date that he hits on this like stewardess in the airplane, and they go on a date together, and while they're hanging out, she disappears somehow, and he doesn't know why. And so he's led down this crazy path where he runs into a bunch of ninja assassins that are, yes, go-go dancers, and another crew of some other bad guys who are some sort of mob bosses who are also after this girl, and he doesn't know why. Finds out that it's all about a big pile of gold that was left behind after World War II that is now worth a large sum of money. What did I think of it? I think this is a great movie. I think, even for the 60s film, the style and the aesthetic of this film were really, really entertaining. These are very fun films that anybody could watch. If you are a Bond fan and you watch like Dr. No and those kind of films where, it was a little silly and a little on the weird comic book scale, almost like Batman. Yeah, they were like zing, pow, bam. Wild, stupid fighting and just obligatory artistic colors that blaze the screen. The story is really not even that interesting. It's just kind of there to kind of push this really fast-paced movie along. Hondo gets himself into so many different situations just trying to save this girl. He didn't even care about the gold, but these assassins pop up and then he gets entangled in this crazy mess. and there seems to be something more going on the whole time. The fight sequences are nothing like kung fu action film or anything like that. Like I said, Batman punching people, you know, zing, pow. You can tell that they're not even hitting each other. But I mean, this is a film that wasn't really made on a lot of money. This was made on like nothing. Yasuharu was like brand new, sort of. Man, his prowess on the camera is really evident. Like, he knew what he was doing. Probably his style and his shots and everything that he set up, it just looked really good, like it was in a music video or something. Which is important for these types of films because they would often play like go-go music or like surf punk kind of music or like, you know, that type of music from the 60s at the time. It was aimed at the younger generation of Japan at the time as well. And they, like I said, took a lot of different like pop culture references and shoved them into this movie. One of my favorite scenes, and this is zero spoilers, by the way, this actually has a scene where the girl that Hondo is trying to save running through all of these different rooms, and each room she's busting through is just like a paper that rips open into a new color that is behind them. It's like this play done in like an art style that looks really cool. There was one scene in the movie where someone dies, and while that person is being held in someone's arms, blue paint falls down behind them. It was really cool. And these are the types of shots that Yasuharu did and was really good at. But it's funny too, because this movie was never really popular when it came out, but it did stand the test of time in some ways. The American audience didn't really get to see this film until years later. I've never heard of this film. It just looked cool when I watched the trailer. If you see the segments in between here, you'll see just how creative and stylish it is. Like some scenes that are just like bare have this purple light to kind of like pop the screen and make it look real colorful. Almost as if you're watching like a Dario Argento film, but more in the 60s style way. It's not done to be scary, obviously. They called them borderless action films at the time because they had no borders. They could do whatever the hell they wanted with it, which is totally appropriate. And the star of the film, Akira Kobayashi, is like super awesome, and it makes me wonder if it was like why the Usual Suspects movie named their lawyer in the movie Kobayashi. But I mean, he's a good guy, so it doesn't really make sense, but I don't know, it just makes me think of that in particular. If you're open-minded to some like really cool genre cinema with like action and really artistic stylings that is very similar to like Bond movies or Batman or even the Pink Panther, the story is just silly kind of dressing, but it is a fun movie nonetheless. I really enjoyed it. There is a little bit of blood, but not a whole lot. It's just kind of fun to watch, and I had at no point in time did I feel bored watching this movie from start to finish. If you're into like films like this, you might want to check it out for yourself. I would say that this movie is a 7 out of 10 for me. As far as like a movie from the 60s like this is pretty fucking fun, man. If you're into that kind of thing, I would say check it out. Even if you're not, you might want to check it out. But yeah, now I'm going to go ahead and jump into all of the extras that are on this disc, what's on the inside, how the cover looks, kind of give you an idea of what the extras are on this Radiance release. DVD Entertainment sent this one out to me, so thank you very much for doing that. I really appreciate it, and thank you Radiance Films for letting me do. Let's check out what's on the inside now. So first up, the cover of this film is just fucking awesome because there's so many shots that are like this. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with Radiance Films or not. I also have their Messiah of Evil release, which is really awesome as well. But they always put these little slips in here on the corner, which I think is kind of interesting because it kind of like, if you want to make them uniform, you can do that, or you can just opt to do the outside here. But it all kind of goes together here. If you look at the front, you got the Akira standing in between the legs of the assassins, or who is this? Actually, you don't know who it is. On the back, you get a couple closer images of the girls dancing as well as with a knife, which is super cool. All the extras and everything are located on there as well. On the inside, we get our black tight killers on a black disc here. It's also got a book in here that you'll want to check out by Chris D, who is a Japanese cinema expert, and it is a really interesting read of kind of how the whole thing came about. And it kind of taught me everything I know about Nikatsu films and Yasuharu, but this is a really interesting read that you might want to check out when you get the release. And this is the inside. Now, you can flip it over if you like. Personally, I like the new artwork by Time Tomorrow, but this one is the original sort of color. Well, it's the original cover with him, Akira, on the front. The color, I think, was from Time Tomorrow, who did this stuff, which is really fantastic. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, we do have some extras that I'll go over here with you. Not very many on this release in particular, but quality over quantity. So obviously, you already get the book that I showed you by Christie, who is a Japanese expert, but you also get the high definition transfer, which is a 228:1 mono. It is in the Japanese language with English subtitles, of course. It's an 87-minute long color film, obviously, and it is a high definition digital transfer, uncompromised mono PCM audio, by the way. We also have audio commentary by critic and author Jasper Sharp, who does a fantastic job of kind of breaking down what was so popular at the time of these films and why they came out, and he just within the first 10 minutes just fills you in on everything. There's also an archival interview, I believe from like 2007 or 2010 or something like that, where he kind of talks about his past and his history, some of his favorite films, and like why he got started and what he thinks of his films now. He wants to change them, which I've heard from a lot of directors. It's not that he hates them or anything like that. It's just that he's a perfectionist, so he's always wanting to fix it to make it better. We also get the trailer on this, and of course, all of the English language in here is newly translated subtitles, so if you had a version before that wasn't as updated, this is the most updated version, and I didn't see any flaws in the translation whatsoever. Not a huge ton of content on here of the original director, but the archival footage that they have in here that's about 9 minutes long is definitely good. I enjoyed watching all of it. He's sort of like sitting in a video store, a Japanese video store, and kind of like talking about his movies, so it's interesting. Again, this just came out yesterday, and you can pick up a copy from all of the links that I have down below. So if you have a place that you like to buy from in particular, this is a region A and B, so you can find this in the UK as well as the United States. It'll play in both regions, so you don't have to worry about that. But yeah, all the links for everything are down below, so if you want to pick up a copy for yourself, you can. Honestly, I think if you are into action films and you like to kind of dip into some newer stuff that's like maybe from the 60s, this is a really good choice. Like, I would probably rate it higher, but I haven't seen that many, like, 60s films to really kind of base it off of. So, but I just enjoyed it on a regular basis. For me, 7 out of 10, like I said. So, but thank you, MVD, for sending this out to me. Thank you, Radiance Films, putting out another quality release. I really am enjoying their releases. I enjoyed The Messiah of Evil as well. And I got some other one coming on the way, a trilogy from something special that you'll want to see coming down the road too. So another action thing, but it's going to be fun. But yeah, thank you guys so much for coming by. I like to mix things up, do a lot of different genre adjacent films. Anything that's like weird, wild, or so bad it's good is going to be on this channel, whether it's Hong Kong, Japan, Bollywood, anywhere that I can watch a movie. Anything I think that is pretty cool to bring to you guys, I will put forth on this channel. So again, thank you, MVD, for sending that out. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And as always, long live the void.